Everybody, you see there's 6 of us. The 7th will be arriving shortly. He's running a little behind in that new Tampa traffic. Yep. Shh. And the sound of hush fell all over the world. Good morning. I'd like to call this meeting to order. I'd like to recognize Councilman Guido Maniscalco for our invocation.
Thank you very much. So it's my honor and privilege today, it truly is, to welcome Ralph Fox. Ralph recently graduated with honors from St. Lawrence Catholic School, I believe last night, right? Where he was recognized with the St. Don Bosco Diligence Award from the St. Barbara Math Excellence Award, the Principal's Book Award, and the Campus Ministry Award. During his time, he was actively involved in campus ministry, the school newspaper, and student council. He also serves as an altar server at St. Paul Catholic Church. In August, he will be attending Jesuit High School as a member of the class of 2030. Ralph currently aspires to pursue a career in law with plans to study diligently and one day become a successful attorney. He is here today with his mother, Nicole, and is the nephew of my legislative aide, Lisa, and the grandson of the wonderful Sonia. I hope your grandmother's watching. And he would like to take a picture with us after the invocation. So if we could please rise, and Ralph, take it away.
Lord God, thank you for bringing us together this morning and for giving us the opportunity to serve our community. Please guide our city's leaders as they make decisions for our neighborhoods, schools, family, and future. Help them lead with wisdom, honesty, and compassion. Help us all remember to treat one another with respect even when we disagree. Allow us to listen, work together, and care for those who are struggling or in need. I also pray for the safety of our police officers, firefighters, teachers, healthcare workers, and everyone who works each day to make our city a safer and a better place. As a student, I hope we can continue building a community where everyone feels supported, encouraged, and hopeful about the future. Help us all make decisions that benefit our community and bring out the best in one another. Amen. In Jesus' name.
Ralph, you want to come up
Father,
and
the
lead the
Son, and
pledge
the
up here?
Holy Spirit. Amen.
Do you have an official photographer with you? Oh, you got, okay. Oh, there you go.
Yeah,
Okay.
that is your-
Well, that's as official as it comes. Come on in. He felt the camera and boom, he appeared.
That's true.
Touche. Okay, very good. Clerk, can you call the roll, please?
Miranda.
Here.
Maniscalco.
Here.
Hertag.
Here.
Young. Vieira. Carlson. Clendenin.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. We need to, let's see. Adoption of the minutes of the May 7th, 2026 in the evening session, May 14th, 2026. A motion for Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Did you do the evening session as well?
Yes.
You did.
I did. Okay, approval of the agenda. We have several things. Why don't we knock off the request to continue item 48 to July 16th, 2026.
Second.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Request to move.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
did you say item number 48?
Yes.
Item number 48 is a public hearing which cannot be taken up until it's opened at 10 a.m.
Okay, disregard.
You're
So
gonna have to
that will, on technicality, be nullified, that vote, and we will take it up at 10 o'clock. Item number 67, May 28th, 2026, continuation.
Item number 67.
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilwoman Herta.
I would like to move item number 68 to May 28th, 2026.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Herta, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, Councilman Viera, I understand you'd like to, a motion to move item 58 to be heard combined with the city council and CRA public comment?
I'm sorry, what, sir?
Move item 58 to be heard after the combined city council and CRA public comment.
Yes, sir, if I may.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion from Councilman Viera, a second from
Second.
Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay. Did you all have an opportunity to look at our proposed run of show? And okay, go ahead.
For item 66, I'd like to just receive and file, and then
Second.
meet at a later date.
Hear that, please?
Item number 66,
And what is your request, please?
to receive and file.
Yeah, after the after
okay.
public comment.
All right.
Yeah. Okay. Anything else, Councilwoman Hurtak?
You talked about the run of show.
Mm-hmm.
So I do have an issue with only 5 minutes for statements and then a second round. We may end up having more rounds. So is it okay just to say right now, if we have more rounds, do we want to do just 3 minutes or 2 minutes?
It's up to whatever council. I kind of just restated what the rules were, but yeah, because if you're for everybody's iteration, but whatever council's will is.
I just wanted to put it on the record
Yeah.
now so that we don't, because with the workshop, we were very
Strict.
strict.
Yeah.
So I have a feeling we'll have some conversations. So I really just wanted to make sure that this didn't indicate that there's only 8 minutes to talk about this.
Okay, so how about we do this? We'll run through the round 1 and 2, and then I'll entertain a motion after the second round. Is that good for you to continue?
No, I would really prefer to just have it as part of.
Endless though?
No, but if we don't need it, we don't have to use it.
I mean, with whatever.
Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry. Forgive me. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. I'm having trouble following your discussions. If you could just please be sure,
So,
for the
okay,
purposes of the approval of the agenda, what's really necessary at this point
Okay,
is not
so-
only does council agree, but the public has to be aware of what you're discussing. So please take the time to speak loudly so that the public is understanding.
Okay, then
And the
that's
transcriptions
totally,
come through.
That's totally fine. So I will say, I would just like to say, if needed, a second or more rounds. Can I change it to that?
Does anybody have any trouble with that? Okay. Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I may,
Councilman
I would agree, given the huge nature of this, I would, but I do think, though, that we should have a rule on how many times folks can go until they seek leave for additional ones, just for purposes of time, but I
Fair.
do agree we should have moderate to liberal chance, but we should have a limitation, which we can deal with.
How about as in my capacity of chair, once I feel like if we start spinning our wheels,
Yeah.
I'll call it. And
Fair,
then, okay.
fair.
Okay.
Okay, so that was my
Okay,
only
very good.
thing.
So, other than that, can I get a motion to approve the agenda and the run of the show?
We haven't gone through staff reports
Oh, we haven't
yet?
gone through staff reports yet. No. Okay, Mr. Shelby.
I'm going to ask that you notify the public, and also for the record, under the approval of the agenda, you had sent out a proposed
I'll do that.
revised order of
Yeah.
business.
Can
So
we do staff
after
reports?
it's approved, you're going to do that?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Okay, staff reports. We have Councilman Hurtak. Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman,
Mr. Shelby.
just, I shouldn't, forgive me for interrupting, Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney, because this is relevant to what your order of business is going to be. The question is whether you need to have staff here for items number 59 through 64, which are resolutions under staff report for the purposes of passing resolutions in excess of $3 million.
Correct. Okay. Does anybody want staff for items 59 through 64?
Can we do it one by one like we always do?
Yeah, if you'd like. Okay, so item number 59.
No.
Okay, 60. 61. 62. Okay, no. 64. No. Okay, so no staff for items 59 through 64.
Yeah, and if I may, Mr. Chair?
Yes, sir.
On item 65, I would like to, perhaps we can see how we're doing after lunch, but seeing if we can do
a time frame, just, well, especially if the fire chief is gonna be here personally, out of respect for the fire chief's time, if we could have a,
How about we have a motion to hear this after the 1:30 public hearing?
okay, there, if I may, that's my
Okay,
motion.
we have a motion from Councilman Vieira, a second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Item 65 will be heard after the 1:30 public hearing.
And if I may, Mr. Chairman, if anybody from TFR or Local 754, which is also speaking, has a conflict with that, please let my office know so we can amend. Thank you.
And then 66?
Oh, yeah, 66, I want a motion to receive and file, and then I'm gonna meet with staff and staff on a later date.
We can't receive and
Yeah,
file,
well,
so we've got
well,
public
yeah,
comment, but we just
actually-
don't need staff.
actually-
That's the question.
Actually, you can receive and file.
Yeah, this one,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
this one doesn't have any action. So, yeah, so I have a motion from Councilwoman Young and a second from Councilman Maniscalco to receive and file item 66 with a written staff report. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it.
I move to accept 69.
Okay, we have a motion to accept the written staff report on 69, receive and file from Councilwoman Hurtak, a second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Okay, let me make sure I've got my notes done so I can follow along as we go through. Okay, for the public. Oh, that's actually, can I get a motion to accept the minute? Accept the agenda and the run of show. We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Yes. Yeah, I understand. Okay. A couple of announcements so that everybody up here and everybody on the second floor, for those of you who don't know, the second floor is filled with people as well. Today is going to be a unique meeting. We have a city council meeting which is in session right now. At 11 o'clock, I'm going to hand or on or about 11 o'clock or after 11 o'clock, I'm going to hand the gavel to Councilwoman Young. She's the chair of our CRA, Community Redevelopment Area Board. It's the same 7 members up here, but we're going to gavel in a different meeting. We're going to run those meetings concurrently. The reason we're going to do that is because item number 58, the raise agenda MOU, it has to be dealt with council, and if it passes council, also the CRA. This is how this is going to work today. The folks that are in the audience today, you should be here for our agenda items for regular city council, which will consist of items number 3 through 44 and 59 through 64. So when what's that? And any off-agenda items. So if you're in the council chambers right now, or if you're not in council chambers and you wish to speak to items 3 through 44 or 59 through 64 and any off-agenda items, you should come to council chambers, because when we open up public comment, that's what we're going to open up for. On or after 11 o'clock, when we run the concurrent meetings, the city council and CRA, we will recognize folks that are here to talk to the raise MOU. That will happen on or after 11 o'clock. If you're here to speak to the raise MOU, the time to speak to that is on or after 11 o'clock, not during the first public comment time. Okay, so the first time I'm going to call for public comment, we're only going to hear from people that are here to speak to 3 through 44, 59 through 64, and off-agenda items. Okay? Let's see if did I cover that successfully for everybody? Anything else? Any further clarification I think I need to make? Okay.
Mr. Chairman, just I can.
Mr. Shelby.
Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. Just a reminder that if you're here to speak on the public comment at the beginning of the meeting, which excludes discussion of the raise MOU, if you're here to speak on consent items 3 through 44 and items 59 to 64 and off-agenda topics, members of the public should fill out a general comment speaker card on the 3rd floor. If you're here to speak on the combined CRA and City Council on item 60, to speak during the combined City Council CRA public comment section at 11 o'clock or sometime thereafter on items 58, it's item 58 on the City Council agenda and items 1 and 2 on the CRA agenda, members of the public should sign up to speak on the speaker sign-in sheets on the 1st floor. So please make sure that if you are going to speak in it, especially if you're here for the general public comment, please fill out the cards during presentation. The cards are outside, and that way you'll have your name will be called, Mr. Chairman, did you want me to talk about public comment, or did I do that after the
After,
presentations?
yeah, once we get. So just to clarify, to put it in plain language, what our lawyer just said, if you are here to speak to the Raise MOU, we have sign-in sheets, large sheets. We'll call them in the order that you've signed in on those sheets. If you're here to speak to the other items we talked about, if for those of you that come here a lot, you know you have the cards that you fill out identifying which items you're going to speak to, or if it's an off-agenda item. I will call folks based on those cards for the folks that are in the room now. The last thing is, once you're finished with your public comments for that first round, you don't have to go home. You can go down and stay downstairs and watch City Council downstairs, but we need to clear the chamber so we can allow other people to come upstairs. So after we do public comment, we're going to ask you guys to go downstairs and watch so other people can come up. That being said, I think we're ready to move on with the agenda. Councilman Maniscalco, would you like to introduce our presentations, please? Oh,
The televisions aren't working.
we did that. Oh, yeah. CTTV, can you check the monitors in council chambers? It says there's a check device power error message on it.
We have Tampa International first, right?
Yes.
Sir, you're number 2, yeah. Okay, it's my, again, my honor and privilege to welcome Mr. Michael Stevens, CEO of the best airport in the world, not even America, the world. And I've been all around. And with him is Veronica Cintron, VP of Marketing Communications. And I believe Josh Gillen is here, all right? So, Mr. Stevens, go ahead. Director Stevens, take it away.
Thank you, Councilman Maniscalco. Mr. Chairman, distinguished members of the council, to staff, to everyone that is gathered here this morning, good morning.
Pause one moment, Mr. Stevens.
Sure.
We're hearing audio from somewhere. Thank you. Okay, I'm sorry about that. Go ahead.
No worries. Good morning. My name is Michael Stevens, and I have the distinct honor and pleasure of serving as the Chief Executive Officer of your airport, America's favorite airport, and the side job of serving as curator to a 60-foot flamingo that's in the middle of our terminal. So that's
Phoebe.
another benefit. Named Phoebe. But I'm delighted to be here with you this morning. I thank you for the opportunity to present to you some exciting news and some exciting developments at your airport. We don't have a consistent opportunity to get in front of you, so I want to be judicious with your time, as I know that you have a packed agenda today. The bottom line for Tampa International is we are focused each and every day on connecting not only our region, but connecting the world to this region, to the city and everything that we have to offer. And to do that, we recognize that we have to make investments. We are growing. Everything that's happening in the city of Tampa, everything that's happening in this region is part of the reason that Tampa International continues to do so well. It's a symbiotic relationship. And as a result, we are making investments to be able to stay out in front of that growth. So I want to give you a few updates on what we believe is going to be a critical, transformative project for this region and for this city. I want to talk to you today about our new program, which is Airside D. And I don't know if we got the slides going. Let's see, we got.
The audience, can you see TVs? Are they working on your side? Okay.
All right.
Well, just for one side.
So Airside D is our first brand new Airside in 20 years. And for many of you who have flown out of Airside C, by order of comparison, Airside C is about a 300,000 square foot facility. This is going to be double the size. It's going to be a massive state-of-the-art facility, a facility that is going to serve as a new international gateway for everyone that's coming to visit our region and our city. It is going to have state-of-the-art amenities. It is going to have state-of-the-art technology. It will allow you to go through customs in a seamless fashion. If you're a U.S. citizen, it will allow you to be able to clear the customs process more quickly than you ever have before. It's going to have 2 brand new state-of-the-art lounges. We're going to have a Delta Lounge, and then we're going to have an International Common Use Lounge on a mezzanine level. A brand new customs facility, and it is going to have brand new shopping and food and beverage options in the entire terminal, as well as on the campus. That is something that I'll talk about a little bit later. We're excited to bring this to this region and to our city. Why is this important? Because, as I said, we're growing. Tampa International saw about 26 million passengers this year. In 10 years, we will see approximately 10 million more, getting us up to the 36 million passenger point. And as a result, we have to prepare for that growth and development. So I'm going to pause talking about Airside D because they say a picture is worth 1,000 words. So that means a video should be worth 1,000,000. So I want to share with you what Airside D is going to look like for this region. So this is a view coming into Tampa Bay, coming over our beautiful water views, looking at all of the beauty, our natural beauty, our wildlife that we have to offer. We wanted to capture what this environment looks like inside of this new terminal. See beautiful pictures of downtown Tampa. We wanted to be able to show the elevation that's happening in our city and in our region. And that footprint is the footprint for Airside D. So right now, we're in the process of going vertical. Our elevator cores are going vertical right now. They just erected the first structural steel this week ahead of schedule. The foundational and footprints are going to be built out pretty soon, and then you will start seeing this terminal take shape and come alive. Now, some of the things that you will see is that this is going to be amazing in terms of the views. From floor to ceiling glass to capture the beauty of our bay, the beauty of the sunset, all of those things that this region is known for. We'll have glass jet bridges, so when you get off the aircraft, you will be able to instantly take in Tampa Bay and experience this region. This is a view leaving the shuttle lobby, going out to Airside D. And here's where the magic happens. As you see the brown woods, it's to calm down the stress passage through security. And up in those ceilings, you see those digital displays. They're significant size digital displays that will allow us to tell our story. If we have special events coming to the city, we can project them up there. There'll be digital wave pools that are roughly at waist height that will show dolphins and things like that jumping and breaching up into the ceiling. We can tell our story to the entire world in a way that is unique to Tampa Bay and to Tampa. The food and beverage areas are pushed out into the area where your hold areas are, so that way you can look and see where your flights are coming in. And if you're coming to our customs facility, unlike in Airside F now, where it's somewhat dark and in the basement, this is going to be bright and beautiful, full of state-of-the-art technology. This is going to speed up the process for clearing, allowing you to grab your bag and be on your way. So we are super excited to bring this new facility online to our community. We anticipate that it is going to be going live in Q1 of 2029. And this is what Tampa can expect. This is the new Airside D, something that the city and this region, and certainly we are at Tampa International, very proud of. So that is the presentation for Airside D. Mr. Chairman, I want to go through just a couple small things before we conclude, just to talk about some of the milestones that we're going to hit here. The first milestones, we have our public art program. We want to make sure that our region, the city, everyone around here is represented in the art that they see when you come through the new Airside D. We also have our concessions program that is going to be going live this fall. And why is that important to this community? We want Tampa represented. We want you to come into our airport and feel like you're in Tampa, not some nondescript airport wherever in the country or the world. So it needs to look and feel like Tampa. We're very focused on making sure that we have local brands. And one of the things that I want to share, folks that are interested, and this is why we come and do these updates, so we can share what's going on. Our concessions program for local businesses and companies to participate is very important to us. So if folks are interested in learning how they can participate in this program, I encourage you to take a picture of the QR code and it'll take you to our concessions website. So this is a part of the vision of what we're doing. And what does it mean in terms of real numbers? It means economic activity. We are anticipating about $458 million staying locally within our catchment area in our counties that Tampa International pulls from. a bunch of full-time jobs, up to 1,400 jobs will be working on this program, including concessions and small business. What we've always been focused on, making sure that our businesses, our small businesses, participate in everything that's going on at the airport. About $190 million, $78 million has been let to date. So we're super excited about what's happening there. And last but not least, Mr. Chairman, if I may, I've often talked about what our job is at Tampa International, about connecting folks. But it is important that even though we bring people in at 600 miles an hour, that they can get around and they're connected to this city and to this region. So to that end, I wanted to just share a very quick clip of a vision that I have that we are going to be leaning into as the airport, to create a multimodal facility, hopefully to be able to connect from downtown to the airport, so we can start to reduce congestion and give people more mobility options in this region. So we put together this quick little video to share with you. Imagine flying into Tampa, and imagine that you are wanting to get downtown, or you wanted to get somewhere else. Well, we have thought about the notion of creating an air mobility hub. So that would be the train, Sky Connect, that takes you over to this air mobility center. It will have eVTOL, which is going to be coming to us pretty soon, connectivity points for potentially a train or an automated people mover that goes to downtown, TNCs, bus curbs, all of those things being able to connect people in to get them to the points that they want to go. This is a vision of an eVTOL, staying above the traffic, taking you from the airport to points beyond. And from there, our vision is to be able to connect even further, perhaps across the Howard Franklin Bridge, where FDOT has already invested significant capital to create a transit corridor. That will allow us to activate PI along with Tampa International. And again, this is a vision that we have, but these are the things that your airport is leaning into so we can make sure that this is a better, more effective city. Mr. Chairman, that concludes my presentation. I'd be delighted to take any questions.
Thank you, Mr. Stevens. You know, somebody who worked at the airport in the control tower for many years and have known you for a lot of years as well. I can't tell you how happy I am that you're at the helm and the leadership of Tampa International and help guiding this airport to become even better than we ever could have imagined. So thank you so much. And I'm very excited about the transportation opportunities, you know, working with you along with my coworkers to ensure that we get that transit options to be able to connect people from your facility to the rest of our beautiful city. Councilman Maniscalco,
thank you very much. You know, I said this is the best airport in the world. It really is. I mean, it's so convenient and easy, but I love the architecture of this new airside. You know, Tampa's my first favorite airport. Dulles is my second, and specifically the TWA terminal, aka TWA Hotel at JFK, not the airport. I'm talking about that. And those two, Dulles and TWA, have the same architect. Very famous that designed that. He did the St. Louis Arch as well. But this is reminiscent of that. It's like a mid-century, but now in the future. This is a 21st century look at, you know, how the design used to be, but in a modern way. This is exciting. I mean, we're getting more and more international flights. I mentioned that I'll be on one soon. You know, going through the customs process is very easy. I know it's very tedious in other airports. I mean, what airport can you say that you can run in, grab something to eat, and be out of there before the free 1 hour parking expires? You know, and Tampa International has that. So I'm very excited, and I'm glad that you were here to present this. I can't wait for this to open. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Councilman. Appreciate it.
Councilwoman Young. Councilman Miranda.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to say thank you for what you've done yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and thinking about the future. And also, I use a lot of your techniques in transportation. Even here, when people come from the State Department, I tell them we don't need an additional lane in the expressways. We need what you have at the airport in Tampa to make it movable. Buses can't move if you have 10,000 cars around them. And you guys have done it the right way for many years, and I want to congratulate all of you, all your employees, and everyone that works with you. You do an excellent job, but Tampa is not number one, number two, number three, it's the only one. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Councilman, for those kind words.
Councilwoman Young, then Vieira.
Well, one, awesome presentation. And in 2024, when I was with Toba Leadership Institute, and we came to the airport and we did a tour of the airport. And when And during that that session, that's when we were first learning about the airside D. And so to see it now and to hear that, now it's going vertical and all the other things that are going to be coming online, it's like anytime I travel anywhere, I'm in the airport and I always say, Tampa International would not do this to me. So I'm really excited just to see this new airside and also all just, what it's going to bring to the city. And you're doing a fantastic job. So thank you.
I
Thank
think
you,
that's, I think that's the new one of your social media things. Tampa International wouldn't do that to you.
That's fine.
I like
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That was a
That's
good line. That was good.
That's actually very
Uh-huh.
catchy.
Yeah,
And
Councilman Vieira.
thank you, Mr. Chairman. And Michael, I just, and you know this, man. Every time I see you in the media, or I see you in the paper, I see TIA or I go to TIA, I'm always just filled with pride for you, the amazing job you're doing, the wonderful man that you are, your journey in life, and just the kind of guy that you are. You're a good person. You're a person of strength. You're an Army and Air Force veteran. You're a good dad. You're a good person. So I'm just, Tampa International Airport couldn't get a better person, but it also couldn't have happened to a better person. So I have pride for you, buddy. That's all.
Thank you, Councilman.
Yes, sir.
Those kind words are greatly appreciated.
Yes, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Councilman Carlson.
And Councilmember Vieira, Phoebe would tell you not to promote Tirana, Albania, and to promote TPA in Tampa instead. So, for the social media folks, I want to thank you. You're doing an excellent job, Michael, and we've known you for a long time. You and I sat on the Charter Review Commission, thanks to Councilmember Vieira who appointed you, and we had a great time there. And I know you're a leader in lots of ways in the committee. I want to make sure that everybody remembers the late Steve Burton, who in 2010 came in and helped turn around the airport. Most people don't remember, but before 2010, the director before that actually said to the media, you all can Google it, that it was impossible for us to get international flights because of Orlando and Miami, and that we just need to keep the landing fees as cheap as possible. And as a result, the airport was declining in many ways. We were not even on the top 10 list domestically anymore. We were dropping off. And so Steve Burton and others brought in Joe Lopano. One of the board members at the time called him a second-round draft pick and tried to run him out of town. Fortunately, the community supported him, and he brought in great people like Michael and turned around the airport. It really was a turnaround situation, even though we all love the airport and the guts of it. George Beam created a great airport in the beginning. But what we see in front of us is an example of the great vision that you all have pushed forward. And we've added lots of international flights that the previous guy said we couldn't. We've landed domestic flights, and most importantly, the customer experience has improved over the years. Thanks a lot to the areas that you are in charge of, Michael. I just want to ask, we're moving back up the domestic lists. On some domestic lists, I think we're number one. Most of them were within 2 or 3. We're not on the international list yet. By coincidence, I just flew through 2 or 3 of the top airports that are on the international list. Will this, do you know, we can talk about this offline too, but do you know with this new terminal, will it help us to appear on the international list?
Well, thank you, Councilman Carlson, for that question, for your kind remarks. I will tell you, you and I have discussed this before. Tampa International domestically is the leading airport. That's not according to Michael. That's J.D. Power, USA Today, a number of different indicators. But to your point, I am looking beyond that. I benchmark us against the best in the world, the Changi's of the world, the Istanbul's, a lot of these other airports. I believe that Airside D will allow us to tell that story on the global level. In fact, my team and I will be heading to Frankfurt this year for World Routes. We will be promoting not only Airside D, but all of the growth here in Tampa Bay. It's a collective story, and I think that's going to propel us higher on that list.
Is there anything we can do to support you in helping achieve that goal?
I think the places that you go when you talk about Tampa International, both domestically and internationally, keep telling the story. Keep talking about what's coming to Tampa and to Tampa Bay and what this airport is delivering, not only in terms of service and connectivity, but as you said, the experience as well. So if you can continue to echo that, I think that that word is going to continue to get out and grow.
Great, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Councilwoman Hertag, bring it home.
I want to echo what others have said. I mean, obviously, I've known you since our days on the Charter Review Commission, and I really enjoyed that time with you. I don't know why our screens aren't working, but okay, Sarah. But my I mean, everybody's talked about all the wonderful things. Tampa is a phenomenal airport. We are incredibly lucky to have it. But I wanted to talk more specifically about this project. How much is this expansion costing and who is paying for it?
So Airside D is approximately $1.5 billion, and as many of you know, the public may not be aware, Tampa International funds itself. While we have the ability to collect millage, i.e. property taxes, we don't, and we haven't since the early 1970s. So everything that we do is either revenue bonds based on the operations that we generate.
That is absolutely excellent, and you're such a wonderful regional asset, and we really appreciate what you do for us, and we cannot wait to continue to move this forward. 35 million. It's not even going to be 10 years.
Not 10
So,
years.
thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you,
It's a
Mr.
pleasure
Chairman.
having
Thank
here
you,
today.
council members.
Thank you so much. Recognize Guido Maniscalco for our next presentation.
Very much. Next up, we have from the Planning Commission, Mr. Yasser Gonzalez, to discuss the newly adopted single-member district boundaries. Yes, sir. Go ahead. State your name.
Yes, indeed. This is Yasser Gonzalez, Planning Commission staff. To pile on the positivity, it's a crown jewel of the airport for our community. And again, every time I go anywhere else that I see, Tampa is one of the most exciting destinations, and it's a great airport. So if I can get my screens, that'll be fabulous. There you go. So this is a required step in the redistricting process. This is the final step. It's an information item, so I'm here just to confirm what has happened, which is we have gone and redistricted Tampa for 2026. So we go back to the timeline. When did this project begin? The project began sometime in October when we went live. We came to talk to you in November, and we said, this is what we're gonna do. And today we're telling you this is what we've done. We had a first public hearing in February, but before that, although it doesn't say it in the slide, we had open houses, which were in-person open houses in January, and also virtual open houses in February. By March, we had our second and final public hearing. A proclamation was issued by the Supervisor of Elections, and again, now we're presenting to you. Why? Why are we doing this? Why do we do this? Because it's required by law. And again, there are two sections, at least section 2.1 and section 5.08. Again, required every 4 years. This is one of the few items that the Planning Commission recommends and approves. Typically the Planning Commission is a recommending body. They actually approve this one. And again, we're trying to make the population of each single member districts, 4, 5, 6, and 7, more equal. It's not. Oh, there we go. There we go. So we propose 4, and as you guys were briefed individually and collectively on 4 proposed alternatives. As you can see there's a lot of numbers there, but the main numbers are at the bottom. We started with a difference of around 8%, 8.36%, and every proposed alternative brings that alternative down to less than 5. Following 21st century, communications guidelines, let's not virality or controversy go to waste. Harness that for good. That's exactly what we did with this project, because there's a lot of discussions about redistricting at the national level, at the state level. We were able to harness that interest and generate a tremendous amount of participation. This is my second time running this project, and again, we've never seen the numbers of people that were interested in participating. Last time we did it, Councilman Miranda said, that we had, typically low participation in the election, low participation in this kind of project. This was not the case this time, and let's hope that it continues, that, that the spirit being awakened. So again, we send letters to all stakeholders, council members, NAACP, Hispanic Services Council, all the political parties that had a presence in Hillsborough County got a letter or some sort of email. We targeted individual voters that might be affected. So again, we were spamming for democracy here. And again, we had nearly 2,000 project website visits. We had 170 participants in the survey, so we had an online survey done. Again, legal advertisements, you name it. The materials, all the things that we've done are going to remain online. So come January, after everything, this year finishes out, if you feel the need to go and check out a precinct, check out what happened to the redistricting, All that information will be online. We actually have an updated map where you can click on the precinct and see what all the information there. So again, and that will remain there for through the next election at least. So because of again, the staff recommendation was alternative 2. It was the simplest alternative. So we wanted, again, because of so much upheaval out there, we wanted to keep things as steady as possible. One precinct changes from Council District 7, which according to census data is the most populous, to Council District 5 is the least popular. So we just moved that precinct and again reduce that range from 836 to around 4, and that's it. That was a wrap. So again, this is just giving you what the population is afterwards. Council District 5 again becomes the most populous then. So again, it was a significant move there. So what precinct do we move? We moved precinct 3, 4, 5, which is, it starts at the corner of 30th Avenue and Bush Boulevard there. And that is the only move we made. So again, that's a very densely populated precinct, hence the numbers you see. So this is just a large-scale map of that, where you can see the city-wide, and you can see, again, only one move was made. The rest remains the same. Thanking our partners, again, I'm just one voice, but this is a cast of thousands. We have, planners involved, volunteering. We have y'all coming to some of the meetings, y'all giving advice as to some of the, making recommendations to some community groups to come and invite us in. We also had the supervisor of elections office marching in lockstep at every step of the way in order to help us, answer questions and answer our questions about the voting rolls and things like that. We had, again, the city attorney. We had the public schools always offering their facilities. People know where schools are, so it's easy to bring people to schools. We also had the fabulous new to me city center at Hannah, which was amazing. And again, we had a fabulous meeting there. So again, we'd like to thank everybody. Again, these are all just a compendium of all the articles that we see there. Again, we had an incredible amount of media attention. There were at least 10 interviews or something like that. So again, we harnessed the controversy for good, and I think that to great effect in terms of the participation. That is all I have. Thank you. Any questions?
Any questions? Okay.
I have a comment.
Oh, yes.
Well, thank you, Yasser. And prior to being on council, worked with Yasser when I was at Tampa Heights Junior Civic Association. And you came and worked with our kids and taught them about urban planning. And you are amazing. And I appreciate you just answering all, because I know I had lots of questions. And, just making sure that questions were answered. I've watched you at the meetings talking with everybody. And just thank you for, making sure that everybody was involved in this process. So that's all.
Thank you much for the presentation. We really appreciate it. Mr. Shelby.
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Drum roll, please. You're up. Public comment.
Thank you very much. Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. Members of the public today are allowed a reasonable opportunity to address any item on the agenda before City Council takes action on the item. Now, as you heard, the Raise MOU will not be taken up and not open for public comment until after 11 o'clock. But with regard to what's on the consent docket and with regard to the resolutions under staff reports in excess of $3 million and items that are not on the agenda, this is your opportunity to speak. A 3-minute time limit applies to all speakers providing public comment. Again, you should have filled out a speaker card, and per council's rules, preference is given first to those who are speaking on agenda items. Speakers and members of the public are reminded to please refrain from disruptive behavior, including making or threatening remarks or making or causing disruptive noises or sounds or displaying signs or graphics. And please direct your comments to the entire City Council rather than individual members. The chair will rule out of order any person who speaks without being recognized or attempts to address council outside the speaker area at the podium. Persons failing to comply with council rules may also be ruled out of order by the chair and, at the discretion of the chair, may be removed from the chambers and Old City Hall for the remainder of today's meeting. And again, if you're here to speak on public hearings, which are items, I have that there, they're loading in, items, the 10 a.m. public hearings, items 47 through 52, And the 10:30 public hearings, item 53 and 54, those have sign-in sheets outside. You don't fill out speaker waiver cards, but your opportunity, not speaker waiver cards, but speaker cards, your opportunity to speak to that is when those items that are set for public hearing on the agenda are called up to be able to talk to that item. Now, finally, city council members, please refrain from engaging a speaker during public comment, and members of the public, please be aware that city council does not take questions or have a dialogue with you during general public comment. This is your opportunity to express your position. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Shelby. First up, Stephanie Pointer. Again, remember this, first up, people on agenda items, you indicated that you're speaking to on agenda items. If you speak to off agenda items, you'll need to, I'll have to have you stop and you'll have to come to the end of this, of the program. Thank you. Stephanie Pointer.
Good morning, Stephanie Pointer. Number 6 and number 8, please somebody explain to me how they're not the same damn thing. What they want to do with that Reconnection Center and the Skills Center, they're the same thing. Where have we got data that shows that this is a good use of our money? Why are we reinventing the wheel? We already have Irwin Technical Center out there, but yet we want to spend a bunch of money doing the same thing over and over again. And are there not any other areas of Tampa that need to have skills training? Just saying. I mean, we keep doing it the same thing in East Tampa, and I love my friends in East Tampa, and I think we need everything that we can get in that particular area. But when you set up 3 and 4 facilities for the same thing over and over again within a couple miles of one another, it's ridiculous. Number 34, we have amazing land use attorneys in the city of Tampa. Why are we spending $200,000 to hire a land use attorney firm from the East Coast? Number 36, I'd like to point out first, before I say something about 36, number 54, $5.5 million for Curtis Hickson Park. I'd like to point that out. That's coming. It's CRA money. It's downtown money, whatever. I don't care where it came from, but they're going to get $5.5 million. We are asking for the $650,000 that was gotten from the gas company on the backs of the people who live south of Gandy to be spent in our community. I don't think that's kind of a no-brainer. $5.5 million, $650,000. Nobody should vote no on that for A.J. Polonis Park. Where is the capital improvements plan for number 42? Where is that for the Jefferson Street? Because I went online, I looked it up, I Googled Jefferson Street project, there was no project, there was no planning on base. Where's the money going? Are we just making it up as we go along? First time I've seen it. I loved the airport guy, and I should know his name, but I'm not that kind of person. But the fact that he said that they get no money from our tax base really kind of resonated with me. I'm like, oh, that's wonderful. They are self-sufficient. Can somebody please explain to me why the Port of Tampa gets our tax dollars? And everybody who is in leadership at the Port of Tampa makes more money than everybody who sits on this dais, who sits in this building. Actually, as a matter of fact, many of them make more than anybody else in the city of Tampa, and they're paying for it with our tax dollars. The Port of Tampa is making money for itself. Why are we supplementing? I don't get it. Last but not least, I want everyone in this room to know that I am friends with everybody on that council. I watched yesterday 7 people take a vote, and every one of those 7 people, no matter how they voted, they will lose votes because of it, because many, many people pay no attention to anything that goes on in our local government on a regular basis. So one vote will make or break many people's career. Whether I like them or not, that's not fair. And it's not fair to you guys either. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Pointer. Next speaker is Nicole Winkler, Curtis Hickson Park, item 64. Good morning.
Hi, good morning, Council. Thank you so much for your time. I wanted to introduce myself.
Start with your name, yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
My name is Nicole Winkler. I'm one of the co-founders of Oktoberfest Tampa. We are entering our 17th year at Curtis Hickson Park. So as you can imagine, I'm here for number 64 on the agenda. I wanted to mention that in regards to the vote, I do think that maintenance on the park is always needed. Maintenance in all areas is needed, so I'm here to support maintenance. What I'm here to ask you for is your attention to leadership, coordination, and communicating with the people involved in a start date and the effective run of the project. And I say that in hopes of bringing light to our event that's been happening for 17 years. We love being a part of Tampa's cultural fabric. Our event does not happen without many city departments being involved. That is Tampa Police, Tampa Fire Rescue, EMS, Parks Department, parking, our sales tax. We also have over 100 vendors and partners that we work with that are here locally. We have over 100 crew members that it takes to pull off our event every single year. And so as it pertains to picking an effective date for starting the project, I ask that you are aware of our event and that hopefully we can coordinate that the start or the duration of the project as it affects Curtis Hickson Park being available does not fall on the second full week of October. We coordinate with organizations like Visit Tampa Bay. Tampa International Airport has been one of our sponsors in the past. There are so many people that it takes to pull off our event every single year. The mayor, we host the mayor every year that we possibly can to celebrate the cultural fabric of our town. I want to continue that. I want to continue growing it. There are over tens of millions of people that celebrate Oktoberfest all over the world. There's over 6 million people that attend it in Germany. The spotlight is on Tampa. And I just ask for your attention to the matter, that you don't forget us, and that you just help me in communicating with all the departments involved so that we can make our spotlight on Tampa amazing and continue what we've been doing for 17 years. Go Rays.
Thank you, Nicole. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Your next speaker is David Phillipson. Said on agenda items, but did not identify which agenda item. David? Good morning, sir. Start with your name.
Yeah, David Phillipson for the record. Okay, what I'd like to talk about is the CRA as a whole. When I was in South Brooksville, which is considered the hood in Hernando County, I was involved with their CRA. I was told where I live now, is a impoverished area, an impoverished area or a hood. I called the city council, and they told me because of my zip code, the CRA does not exist where I live. One of the things I want to bring up now is recently there was a break-in next door. I see a lot of things as far as my part of town being kind of impoverished. I mean, I guess we have public transportation, we have stores and things like that. But I'm surprised that there isn't a way you can access, if you're in a CRA or if you're not, online. One of the other comments I wanted to make was in regards to your comment cards. It is interestingly enough, from what I got out of the county, you can sign up online. You can sign up online with the city to speak during the public comment as well. One of the things I'm looking for is an actual digital document of the card so I can bring it with me and print it out. It'd be a lot easier than just, coming in here and filling that out on hand. It'd give me a little bit more time. Time is everything to me as far as processing and preparing for these meetings. It's not just I'm walking in, spur of the moment. I don't drive. I'm handicapped. So I understand the crowds as far as I will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Thank you, David.
Thank you.
Enjoy your day. Montesna, item 8. Good morning, sir.
Uhuru. Uhuru means freedom in Swahili, and we as African people should always be thinking about our freedom. The fact of the matter is, on the sign-in process, it just need to be first come, first serve. I don't care what you're discussing. First come, first serve. I like to speak of number 8. Number 8 say less than $20,000. Appeasement and begging. That's what they like to see African people do. Appeasement and begging. Nothing more, nothing less. And that's what you're seeing here. They're discussing $180 million for the raise, but they're discussing $20,000 for the hood. Appeasement and begging. You know the most important thing inside the African community right now, the most important subject matter? The most important subject matter inside the African community right now is Pooh Shiesty. And none of y'all clowns up there ever heard of Pooh Shiesty. The most important conversation inside the African community right now is Gucci Mane. The most important conversation inside the African community is Julio Fulio. Big 30. Y'all ain't never heard of it. African people are disconnected. They don't even have to talk about gerrymandering anymore because they just redivise and resize the districts and do what they want to do. Because African people, we aren't on that level to know about our rights and our human rights, and no one looks out for us. And they keep tricking us and fooling us. And this $20,000 in number 8 is one of those tricks. Our youth, our young people, our adults have no hope, none. It's resignation inside the African community. Drugs, alcohol, tobacco, vaping, sexual perversion, name it. It's inside the African community, littered with it. That's our only hopes and aspirations. And our young kids, who can be the next Megan Thee Stallion? And our young kids, who can be the next Kodak Black? That's what we're living for. And no one here is concerned about us. No one is concerned about us. And the fact of the matter, they're discussing $180 million for the raise. It need to be $190 because it's not enough. They need to take $10 million and set it aside for me, for my pain and suffering. They're gonna get what they want. But the fact of the matter is, this $20,000, that's $2,857 that can be divided between the 7 of y'all. You can take that $2,857.14 and stick it up your asses, plain and simple. Stop insulting African people and our community and our heritage and our aspirations.
Thank you, sir. Let's see, Alvaro Monte, and I'm going to slaughter your last name. Alvaro, are you there? The next speaker is going to be Keela McCaskill. Good morning, sir. Start with your name, please.
Yes, my name is Alvaro Montealegre. Where's the speaker?
It's built in. You're
Okay.
just
Okay. Hello, my name is Alvaro Montealegre. I am a resident of Tampa and a member of the Tampa Immigrant Rights Committee. I am here today to demand that Tampa City Council pass an ordinance ending 287G, the 287G agreement. This agreement is an irresponsible use of taxpayer dollars and an inhuman affront to the people of Tampa. 287G uses taxpayer dollars to train Tampa Police Department in federal immigration enforcement tactics, effectively allowing TPD to act as immigration enforcement. So far, $430,000 has been put to TPD's immigration enforcement training. No taxpayer dollars should have been allocated to this training to begin with. More immigration enforcement does not make our community safer. In 2025, the Supreme Court ruled that ICE can racially profile civilians. TPD should have no part in this. Immigration enforcement under the Trump has led to a rapid increase in deaths at the hands of federal immigration enforcement within communities and in inhumane detention centers. Ever since the murders of Renee Good, Alex Pretty in Minneapolis, and Keith Porter in LA, cities around the country have been demanding ICE out of our communities. People all around the country are demanding that their cities take a stand against the racist, repressive policies of Trump and his lackeys like DeSantis. I am here to demand that Tampa City councilors act in the interest of their constituents and take a stand against Trump and DeSantis by ending Tampa's 287G agreement.
Thank you, sir. Keelan McCaskill, and followed by Elvis. I see Elvis? No.
Good morning, Keelan McCaskill. This morning I came to talk about agenda item number 65, and not really the agenda item itself, but as it relates to the fire station. Not too long ago, I'm looking at the attention for New Tampa and the fire stations, the equipment that they have there to deal with the few calls that they receive per year. And I know it doesn't matter necessarily how many calls they receive, because it only takes one and it could be devastating. So when I think about my family in Port Tampa, my aunt, my godmother, my relatives are still talking about the one time the man fell off the roof because it was not adequate equipment from the fire station. So I see the information and the emphasis put on agenda item number 65, but I'd like for you all to ask for a report to show where it makes sense to have, like in an area that doesn't really receive a lot of calls, more than enough equipment, and then in other areas you don't. In South Tampa, they've added, I don't know how many buildings, but this is a question you can ask. How many new high-rise or mixed-use development, 3, 4, 5 stories exists now in South Tampa from the last time you did the report? Because I can assure you, when you go down by the water and you go around throughout South again, there's a whole lot of new apartment complexes that weren't there when we looked at this the last time. So before we make decisions for just one area, ask for a report for all those areas, particularly that area, because they had the most recent devastating situation, and it was because of the response time. That truck, I think it had to come from 3 different precincts over, get on the crosstown, make it down to Gandy to revive somebody that fell off of a roof. That's unacceptable. So before we spend too much time on one precinct, let's look at a report, make them come with a report for all of them, for the plan for each one of them. South Tampa, New Tampa, West Tampa, East, all of them need the same report, so we make sure we have adequate resources, because the city has grown tremendously everywhere, but I know South Tampa, it has been crazy in terms of growth. And when we do that, make sure we pay attention, because right now the message is we focused on a field, a stadium, but we don't have adequate resources in the fire department. People pay taxes, they want to make sure they're safe, and they pay taxes for public safety. I just want you guys to put a lot of emphasis on that, raise some concerns, ask for the reports, and then do it publicly so people understand that they're safe. Thank you.
Thank you, Keela. Elvis Pickett, are you in the room? Elvis? Going once, going twice?
Mr. Chairman, if I can.
Mr. Shelby?
Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. How is it that you will know whether there's anybody on the second floor who needs to come upstairs? Is somebody announced?
Yeah.
You call their name?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, just want to be clear. Okay, thank you.
Okay. And I don't believe, I think anybody that that's speaking to these cards are here, or they'll be here on this floor. We asked them, only the people that were here for item 58 for the raise to be downstairs. So that's the way it's going. And then once they're finished with public comment, we're asking them to leave so we can clear up chairs. Angel Murchison, followed by Tara Bluma. Angel? Going once. Angel Murchison, Murchison. Angel going once, going twice, gone. Tara Bluma. I saw Tara earlier. Tara Bluma? Okay, if you find her, let me know. Connie Burton and Valerie Bullock. I'll come back to Tara if she comes back in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, listen. Elvis Piggott, if you're in the building, come to the 3rd floor. Angel Murchison, if you're in the building, come to the 3rd floor. Connie, good morning.
Good morning, Council. Presentation number 1 was just very enlightening, but what took my attention is the fact that they're carrying their own weight. Number 2 items, expanding democracy. That's interesting when we're seeing how, the maps are being drawn. But even if the maps weren't really being drawn in some areas, people have simply lost hope. Time and time again, people are raising the issues of opportunities. I see there are small buckets of monies that are being put toward nonprofits. But I would say that you take a look at how you can partner with urban vocational technical school, because our young people in our community need, beyond the conversation, real skill development. And you have an opportunity with items number 60 through 64. You're moving large sums of money, $10 million, $3 million, $5 million. But what is the connection to young people or people in East Tampa in particular that many in the community is either unemployed or underemployed that would be able to make an attachment to that? I know you work very hard to put at the Hannah Center a returning citizen division that is serving nothing but a resource center. Resource, pretty much like an empty job fair, that people are just simply walking around in circles, not being connected to real jobs. I believe that this city can lead the way, that if you are willing to see all ties, or however it go, with economic opportunity, then we would be able to hear from various department leadership that's saying that these millions of dollars that you're investing inside of improving the quality of life in Tampa, it is connected to people having real jobs. And my last point, that even though you're giving money to these smaller nonprofits, one thing that the community asks for is a vibrant summer job program, and you was able to pull yourself to finding 70 jobs, 70, which is not enough given the chaos that can be created from a long, hot summer when young people don't have anything to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Connie. Valerie Bullock, followed by Tara Bluma. Morning, Valerie.
Good morning, Valerie Bullock, Ponce Leon, and College Hill. I was sitting back there looking over the agenda, and I started reminiscing. I was raised in College Hill, went to College Hill Elementary School before integration, stood in line at Model Cities to get the commodity cheese, the canned chicken, before it was Lee Davis. And I look in East Tampa right now, nothing have changed except we don't get commodity food no more, now we get food stamps. But the people's lives are still the same. And I'm gonna fault everybody who ever sat on that dais for that for the last 40 years. We keep giving money to the same organizations over and over. They say sign in, give me your telephone number, your email, and your name. Yeah, you use my data to get more funding, but the people's lives in East Tampa have not changed. Week after week, I come down here saying that 12-year-old boy, he's being enticed to go out there and sell drugs or to go out there and kill somebody because the system failed him. That 12-year-old girl, some man down the street want her to sit in his lap for $5. The same way how it always have been. Ain't nothing changed. We keep giving money to the same nonprofit, the same organizations. What they do, they hire their family members. The money never gets to the most vulnerable person it is, that child in East Tampa. And when will it end? If not now, when? You all have the power to make changes, and I'm expecting some changes to be made. When I go in West Tampa and I go in Ybor City, they hire people to pick up paper off the street to keep it clean. That same bucket of money y'all got to pay West Tampa and Ybor City, get some money out that bucket and pay the people in East Tampa to do the same. And we got the young people out here having team takeovers. I know it's just a cry for help. We used to picket and we used to march, and a few of us used to riot. So something good can be put into a negative spotlight by a few of the people. But most of the people in the team takeover, it's a cry for help. They need jobs. When is some money gonna come to East Tampa and get down to the people who need it the most? Not another organization, not another study, not another work program. If it is, we want stipends. If we sign our name, we want some money put in our hand. And the city of Tampa need to be the leader. Get with some of the business that you give money to. Tell them we're gonna put a community benefit agreement on this money. You got to hire 3 people from the city of East Tampa so that they can get apprenticeship training. This
Thank you,
been
Valerie.
going on too long, and y'all see it.
Thank you, Valerie. Tara Bluma? No.
Good morning. I'm Tara Bluma. First, I wanted to speak on items 30 and 31, the Beach Park and Neptune Way stormwater improvements. I am curious what happened to the Neptune Way project, and after a lot of digging, I was not able to uncover that. They, it looks like, had a $700,000 budget, and the most recent documentation I found showed that they have spent $35,000. So why did they not do the project, or what's going on with that? To have $465,000 available still in that line item to transfer over to Beach Park. On the Beach Park project, the change order says that unforeseen conflicts had caused them to spend money that they had needed to pay for actual in-contract items. But it also includes $97,000 in material cost increases. So I'm not picking on this contractor. I'm bringing this up to talk about GMPs. You all place a lot of stock in GMPs, but yet quite frequently you approve change orders a lot that have cost increases in them. So I think we're wasting a lot of time with GMPs if we're not really guaranteeing a particular price. Next, the social action and arts fund allocations. I know y'all are making, with Andrew, a lot of improvements to this, but this is just more thinking about going forward. Depending on the dollar amount, some are required to submit reports already. I'd love to see those reports. They should be available. And within the reports, did they actually make progress on any of their objectives? We should keep that in mind before we renew support with them, that they both turned in the report and that they had some results. Finally, I think it's really unfortunate that the mid-year financial review was delayed, because very relevant to your decision later today is the fact that the business tax was eliminated on commercial properties, and that of course is going to have a huge impact on CIT revenue. I've heard 20%. I don't know what the actual amount that it has impacted our CIT thus far, but in order to make a good decision, I think you need all of the answers, and certainly our financial health is very important to that. Thank you.
Thank you, Tara. There's 3 folks submitted. Yeah, go on. There's 3 folks that submitted speaker cards, but they identified that they wanted to speak to the raise item. If they are here and they want to speak to not the raise item, because the raise is after 11 o'clock when we enter that same, it's Sandra Sanchez, Pamela Canella, and Michelle Mastrataro. If you want to speak to something other than the raise item, you're welcome to come up now. Okay, I see Pam, I see Sandy.
I'll wait till number 58.
Okay, very good. Yes, if you want, but today, this morning is only, but not about the raise, yes. Okay, Pam, go ahead, start with your name, please.
Yes, my name is Pam Canella. And I guess I have to address this to Mr. Chair.
Yes,
Please quit changing the agenda after it has gone out for the last time. Speakers can come prepared to speak at a scheduled time. Not sufficient public notice given when you are here in the City Hall already. The public does need to be given notice and aware of these changes. Thank you.
Thank you. Michelle? And Sandy, make sure you get signed up on one of the sign-in forms for the item 58, FY. Michelle, go ahead.
Hi.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Michelle Mastro-Totaro. My concerns are this $650,000 for Port Tampa area. It was actually on my road that was out of service for a long time with service lights and everything. And I see that there's other projects being handled than actually what really needs a lot more help. And I just find that they really need to fund that money because there's so much going on. We just had a water main break last night and the whole area is flooded, and Tappan Park needs beautification. It's not fair what they're doing to our area. It's almost a developer sabotage. I mean, this is not right. No one has ever stepped up to, do something for that area. There's families there. There's kids that want to play. There is nothing for these kids to do. And I just think that they really need to give the funds and so they can fix some stuff that's in the area, and maybe even an ABA park right in Tappan Park in the corner, because my son's autistic and I would love, like, for Louis Vieja to maybe get in touch with me on maybe doing some, like, a little activity thing in the corner, because there's so many children, they're playing in the streets and there's no sidewalks. People are walking on the road to get to the Legion, and it is booming down there and there's nothing there. It's neglected, it looks disgusting, it looks like a desert, and I pay good taxes and I get nothing. I don't even have drainage in my area. I have a natural resource, whatever they call it, and then they built these apartments up high, 15 feet, flooded everybody on my side, everybody on Commerce. 23 acres of protected mangroves, 15 feet high with brick walls. Where's that water going? Think about that. When people are voting and saying, there's funding that needs to be funded in areas that are really, really vulnerable, and I just hope everybody can understand that. Make it fair. Thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Did Angel Murchison, did he come back into the room? No? Okay. Eileen, now we're going to off-agenda items. Eileen Henderson, followed by Ray Reed. What was that? Oh, okay. Good morning, Eileen. Start with your name, please.
Eileen Henderson, founder of the Cemetery Society. I want to preface this by saying, I know all you care. I know you care. I know you do. What I don't believe is that nothing can be done. That's what I don't believe, especially when the state statute is on our side. And to hear that there's an interpretation challenge is so false, because if you read the statute, it's clear. If the possibility of human remains exists, that's the language. It doesn't say dig till you hit bones, which is the clause put into the permit that was approved for the Cologne Cemetery development of homes. That is not what our state statute says. I've heard things about it's not substantiated, the GPR. I gave you and the city attorney and everybody else an email from the Division of Historical Resources from the state of Florida, someone who's in this industry, who does this for a living, who specifically said in the email in writing, and they never do that, based on this GPR, an archaeological study needs to be done. I gave you a letter from State Representative Ventrice Driscoll asking you to stop and do your due diligence. It's evidence after evidence. I recently gave you the tax rolls. 1990, it says it was used as a cemetery. Not it was, not it is, but it is used as a cemetery. And now I've given you over 1,000 unmarked graves at Marty Cologne Cemetery. I've never had this much evidence before. I've never had this much support before from the state. And here we sit with the sign posted that he's going to build houses. And guess what? It might not just be 2. We've heard it might be 4. There are possible human remains there. I'm asking you to do your due diligence. This is West Tampa's history. We're getting ready to do something massive in West Tampa. This bright, shiny new penny that I know is going to go through. What are we going to do about our history? What are we going to do for those voiceless people who built Tampa to bring us to where we are today, to do what we're going to do with this new shiny penny? I know something can be done. I'm now at a point that I'm begging. Save those people. Save West Tampa's history. Save Tampa's history. Thank you all.
Thank you, Eileen. So Mr. Reed, followed by Ashley Morrow. Ray? After Ashley, it's going to be C.T. Harris. Good morning, sir. Start with your name, and then you'll have 3 minutes.
Okay, Ray Reed, Hilton Place, Tampa, Florida, 33604. One of Mr. Miranda's constituents. And I just have some pieces of paper here. City attorney somewhere?
Over here.
Okay. Just 4 little things in the newspaper regarding the city's interaction with the dead over time. First page is a 1984 small article from the Tampa Tribune that they're selling, and it says Marti Cemetery area north of Columbus, which if you go back and read the newspapers, newspapers.com, most of your aides have it, you will see that they're finding black headstones there, brought in Boza under contract to manage the cemetery. He ended up bare earthing it, and the city sells it off for commercial development. I will tell you, shoot me dead, God, if I am wrong. That's the black cemetery, and the bodies are still there. Okay? Second, 1895, 1896, the city clerk starts publishing a notice. Woodlawn Cemetery, you developed it in 1888, and you turned it over to an undertaker to run. One Lovengreen. The city clerk puts out a notice in the newspaper, would you please get a shovel and dig up your loved ones from the alleys and walkways of Woodlawn? Because Lovengreen, for years, never remitted any money back to the city, if you read the newspaper articles. He also kept no records of who had what plot. If you look at the city's burial registry that's online at Family Search, thanks to the Mormons, you'll see that 1896, all this activity happens for a cemetery that was opened in 1888. And if you look online at the burials there by year, you'll see in 1896, after they dug up all these people that people have been putting there, and other undertakers, that there's a huge bubble in people in the Potter's Field. All right. J.L. Reed, who bought that cemetery called Marti, formerly West Tampa Cemetery, started working for the very same undertaker, Lovengreen, when he moved to Tampa. But he quickly put out his own shingle, in 1901 bought the cemetery. J.L. Reed also, in 1906, got a contract with the county for all its indigent burials. So anybody dying at the Poor Farm, as well as any unclaimed body or whatever, anywhere in Hillsborough County. That Marti Cemetery is full of his commercial contract burials, not just Cubans, not just Afro-Cubans or West Tampans. People from all over Hillsborough County are there, and the spreadsheet that Eileen sent you can confirm that. And lastly, there's just one page, and the last one, I hope you take a look. If everybody thinks, oh, we've got good records, these are the undertakers and funeral homes, the top little box that we have. These are ones that we don't.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Ashley Morrow. Morning, Ashley.
All right. Hello, my name is Ashley Morrow, and I'll be sharing Tampa's Black history. Please save the Marti Cologne Cemetery. There are black bodies underneath there. I wish you had put the little newspaper articles up here. So today, I wanted to focus on Black Tampa in the 1880s and 1890s, a period where we really began to see Black people trying to define themselves in freedom. When we look at the newspapers from that time, we see conversations that still sound familiar today. Articles criticizing Black women because their daughters were no longer being trained strictly for domestic labor. Public debates over whether the terms Negro or colored should be used as the Black identity. And at the same time, we see Black people creating joy, community, and social life through picnics, clubs, and organizations. One picnic location being Magmy Springs, as described here. And if you're wondering where that place is, it is actually the body of water near Armature Works. It is now known today as Eulalie Spring. Renamed in 2006, the citizens of Tampa, white citizens, did not favor Mr. James Magby, who was a white man, by the way. But that's another story for another day when we get into who and why Tampa names certain things after people. But these gatherings mattered. Black people were building community in the public during a time when freedom itself was still being negotiated. We also see Black people stepping into leadership positions here in Tampa. Levin Armwood served as one of the city's first Black police officers, alongside 3 others. Joseph A. Walker served on the city council. Earlier, Black councilmen like Cyrus Charles after Black councilmen like Cyrus Charles and Henry Brumick. We also see Black people, politically, many Black residents aligned with the Republican Party, which newspapers today during that time, openly called the Negro Party. Democrats at the time were described as the party of aristocrats, while Republicans were seen as a party of laborers and working people. From that political climate came Black Republican clubs and fraternal organizations like the Land of Flowers. But what fascinated me the most was the disagreement. In one article, the lodge attempted to position itself. The name of the lodge was the Land of Flowers. It was ran by a George Sheehy. You guys remember the Sheehys? All right. Old Black money right there. In the one article, the lodge attempted to position itself as the spokesperson for the Tampa's Black community. Another organization speaks for all Black people and said that you do not speak for us, basically. We want the community to speak for us. The community wants to speak for itself. And I feel like that has been woven into Tampa's DNA as the community comes out and speaks for itself. So, thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Ashley.
Oh, Sips and Civics. Come to Sips and Civics tonight. Step to Grove. Thank you.
C.T. Harris, followed by Citro.
All right. Greetings, Honorable Tampa City Council members. My name is C.T. Harris. I am not speaking on a particular agenda item, you know that already, but more importantly, I stand before you to discuss what we are witnessing with these youth takeovers that is bigger than policing. It is a regional issue that requires a multi-municipal approach between our local legislative bodies, city council, and county commissioners, which has to be rooted in prevention, mentorship, mental health support, recreation, economic opportunity, and civic engagement. While you all are preparing for the upcoming budget, because I know those talks are being had, I challenge you all to consider ensuring what our city needs and that we are funding the best public use of our dollars to what will benefit our great city, not our friends, allies, our popularity, but the citizens of this great city. Our communities need to be funded, and we need to ensure the funding that's going to those organizations is effective, not repetitive. Moreover, far too often, we wait until our youth are arrested before we intervene. We cannot arrest our way out of hopelessness. We must create spaces where our young people feel seen, heard, and connected before the streets become their outlet. They have pressures we may not know anything about, especially when they are going to school while teachers are hanging nooses around Black baby dolls' necks. At the same time, we cannot ignore what is happening across the South with the continued erosion of voting rights through egregious gerrymandered maps that disproportionately impact communities of color, especially African Americans. Democracy only works when people have fair access to representation and the power of their vote. So I encourage everyone that's listening this morning to stay engaged, stay informed, and please vote. Local government matters. There will be an election March 2nd, 2027. Our vote is our power. Let us not be silenced, and let your vote count. The people are truly in charge. And lastly, I would like to personally invite every member of the City Council to SIP Civics Politics After Dark, hosted at 7th and Grove, curated by myself, C.T. Harris, and hosted by Candace Cohen. A space created, and also broadcasted by the Honorable Ashley Kane. This is a space created to bring community, culture, and civic engagement together so people can connect directly with leaders and better understand the issues shaping our city. And also, please save the Cologne Cemetery. I have a lot of time left, wow. Thank you for your time. I yield my time.
Thank you, CT. Citro, followed by Joe Robinson.
Thank you, Council. Joseph Citro for the record, 33611. My grandfather always taught me, question authority, but when you do, do it with respect. I'm questioning the events that happened 2 weeks ago at this very podium when our city clerk asked for a nomination for chair. It was painful to watch for seconds until the sitting chair had to nominate themselves. Now, we understand there are 3 people that are running for a higher office, but those 3 people should have nominated someone. Then when the vice chair came around, 2 people rejected it. And whether people know it or not, there was a 3rd person nominated and seconded. But Robert's rules were not adhered to. That person did not give a response to whether they wanted that position or not. Instead, we heard one of the council members say, well, if nobody wants it, I'll take it. It's a tough job. When that council member is running for mayor, which is going to be a 24/7 job. This is not a good look. This is actually an embarrassment to the citizens of Tampa and to the city itself. Respectfully, those actions 2 weeks ago were an embarrassment to this city. Thank you, council members.
Thank you. Joe Robinson, followed by Jade Scott. Cowboy Joe.
Get the elmo on.
Giddy up. Giddy up.
Don't start. Let me get me set up here. Can you see that?
Yes.
You don't need to see me. You see me, I can get this focused here. Okay. This is your lesson today for this afternoon in a few minutes. Opportunity Zones 2.0, money and CRAs. Second slide. What is an opportunity zone? The opportunity zone is economically distressed urban or rural community that has been identified by certain local, state, and federal quantities. We have several in the city. How do they get money? Billionaires, millionaires, people that have stocks, bonds, mutual funds, cryptocurrency, collectibles, art, cars that have to pay capital gains tax and want to save paying tax to the IRS. This is how you get money for your CRA. This is how you get stuff in your community benefit agreement. Eligible opportunity zones. Look what it says. Affordable housing can be used for. Market rate housing, mixed use development, commercial real estate, industrial real estate, venture investments, growth investments, but no country clubs, no racetracks, no gambling, none of that, Charlie. Here is the list that the governor will make. Look very closely, look real closely at number 2 rank in yellow. What is it? Hillsborough College, Drew Park, CRA. Number 2, we'll get an opportunity zone so an opportunity fund can be set up so billions. Where was one done? At the Battery in Atlanta for $1 billion, as the conference said last week that I attended. And then finally, here's a map. Look at the purple. What is that purple? That is Drew Park, Tampa Stadium, the Yankees down, all the way down, Boy Scout, all purple, all eligible, all in that census tract that's ranked number 2. It will get approved by the governor. Billions of dollars to be generated in a CRA slum and blighted area.
And with that, I'll give you why I got the cowboy thing on. Because I want to get in the karaoke contest that y'all having. My home is Montana, I wear a bandana, my spurs are silver, my pony is gray. Whatever the weather, we travel together. With foot in the stirrup, I will gallop all day. And with that I say, I'll be back to talk about economic development, community benefit on the next one. That's all I got to say. I'm gonna give you to 11 seconds back.
I've never prayed for 3 minutes to be over so fast in my life. Jade, start with your name, please. You have 3 minutes, and followed by Pastor Frank Williams. Pastor, you're up next.
My name is Jade Scott, and I sort of wish I prepared a song now. But I think I'll be able to power through. So today I am here to advocate for my most beloved department in the city, no offense, the Parks and Recs Department. I would like to advocate for greater funding for adult-centered programs, as well as funding for marketing to promote said programs. When I say adult-centered, no reason to worry, it's nothing sordid. I just would like some programs that happen later in the evening. Currently, according to the website, the recreation center that closes the latest is the Cordelia B. Hunt, which is over in Al Lopez Park, and it closes at 8, and its last program starts at 6. I am a gainfully employed working adult, and I get off at 5:30. And between traffic and getting to some place, you can't really make it anywhere by 6. And this kind of just, creates a problem because then you can't go and participate in these later events. The Parks Department already does have some recreation centers, specifically the 4 art centers, that do have later closing dates. They all close at 9. They have classes that run from 6 to 9, and they all exist in that sphere. And I think that advocating for greater programs centered towards adults that happen later in the evening could be a real benefit to the city as a whole. I think this for a lot of reasons, but I'm going to try to narrow it down to like the top 3. Number 1, people who participate in these community events have a chance to actually engage with their community. That builds a sense of civic pride and other things. It's a really wonderful thing to be able to go to the local Walmart or the store and see somebody you met in class and, strike up a rapport. It builds that sort of community bond that really helps, inoculate people against things like bigotry and despotism and other things like that. Number 2, it allows people to have things to do. As things become more expensive, God, I don't know what your grocery bills look like, but mine do not look like they did several months ago. But as things become more expensive, I think it's really important to have these sort of outlets that can be more cost affordable than, having to go to a kava bar to pay $7 on a drink that you barely like just so you can justify staying in the place. So having a chance to go to a place with a rec card that only costs $15 a year would be, I think, a real boon to the people in the community. And number 3, and this one's really out for all of you, happy community members are happy constituents, and happy constituents vote in incumbents, so that's something to really look forward to on your end. And as to the second part of my statement, 30 seconds, how fun. Increasing the marketing would be really useful because it's one thing to fund these programs, but if you fund these and don't tell anybody, then the programs will inevitably fail and people will take the wrong conclusions from that. So by increasing the funding to have later programs and increasing the marketing, we can get a real understanding of what it would actually look like for people to know that these things exist. And with a pilot program, we can justify doing it more in the future. Again, just greater funding for the Parks and Recs Department. It's truly the crown jewel of the city. I hope to see more. Thank you.
Thank you, Jade. Pastor Williams. Pastor Williams. You're up. This will be our last in-person speaker for the morning comments. Then we're going to have 2 online speakers. If you have already spoken, and I would appreciate if you guys would relinquish your seats and go down to the second floor for the rest of the meeting and watch it on the monitors. If you want to stay, if you've already spoken, please go down to the second floor so that we can free up seats for people that are downstairs so they can come up. Pastor Williams, good morning. Start with your name, please.
Thank you. Yes, I appreciate y'all letting me get up here. Is this speak on?
Yes.
I appreciate y'all letting me get up here and speak to you. I'm crippled, halfway blind, can't hear that good. But y'all don't give a damn, but I care. I got to care about myself. You know, when I see these speakers come up here and speak to y'all, it look like y'all turn your back on them. And I'm wondering why. I know why. Because they look at the color of our skin. I used to bring in flyers every week and give to this lawyer here. You know what he did? He looked at me and told me to give my flyer to somebody else. And he don't want none of y'all to hear none. And I wanted to get a black lady one of my flyers, hoping that she could do something. But she don't want to take one. I got my briefcase right there. Give each one of y'all a flyer. But y'all don't want no flyer from me. Because you look at the color of my skin. And I told the lawyer, make sure you give the mayor one of the flyers. He gave me back my flyer. And he didn't say nothing. He just said no. But I'm trying to do what's right. The people that come up and speak to y'all, they're trying to do what's right. But y'all neglect them. What we should do, we should get, if you want to do it, get a agenda for all color people. And maybe you ought to hear. But you got to understand, I'm losing my voice. I can't speak like I used to, but I give glory to God. You ask me, what's my name? When I first come up and tell you what my name, you say, oh, that's Black Frank. Yeah, we don't want to hear nothing he got to say. But you know what? You gonna hear what God got to tell her one day sooner or later. Now I wanted to talk about the raid. Y'all gonna give them $3 billion? I can't even count that for $3 billion. What they gonna do? Have gold streets in the stadium? It ain't worth no. Ain't no state ain't worth no $3 billion. But that's what they say they're gonna be. I think y'all put a vote on something like that today, ain't you? $3 billion. Give them $1 billion and give me $2 billion. I'll be happy. I show you what I can do with it. I just go out there and help them poor folks that got their over my time up.
Thank you, Pastor Williams. Thank you. Have a safe rest of your day.
Thank you. God bless you.
Okay, that concludes in-person public comment. We have 2 folks registered online. Michael Randolph, once again, for the folks that are listening online, this is not about item 58. This is not about the Raise MOU. This is about general public comment for the consent agenda, the financial resolutions that are going to be before council this morning, and general public comment. So Michael Randolph, start with your name. You have 3 minutes. Michael?
Beyond Rome Garden. The next new thing in West Tampa, connecting ways for youth to turn their talent into income as a strategy to reduce crime. The soon-to-be West Tampa Performing Arts and Production Center. Our Performing Art and Production Center is more than entertainment. It's a public safety engine. We use creativity, culture, and technology to pull at-risk youth away from violence and achieve real opportunity. Inside the center, youth learn music production, video and TV production, broadcasting, branding, digital media, and live entertainment. Real skills that translate directly into real income. And beyond the arts, youth also earn money by creating game application, mobile application, website, AI, and Web3 projects. Proving they can make money with technology as well as their talent. We then connect you to residents, families, churches, and local businesses who will purchase their videos, commercials, graphics, and social media. They choose our youth because they receive quality production, they reduce crime, and they create jobs with every dollar they spend. We don't just create talent, we create role models. Young people who once felt invisible become producers, entrepreneurs, and leaders to get back to the community. Funding from this project will come from local, state, and federal partners, along with foundations and corporations that support public safety and economic opportunity. And finally, council people, in West Tampa, we believe in one principle: no one left behind and no one forgotten in life or in death. Saying that, we support the West Tampa effort related to the cemetery because it's the right thing to do, and no one should be left behind in West Tampa, including the dead. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Have a beautiful day. Adrian Rodriguez, good morning. Adrian Rodriguez. Is she muted? Come off of mute.
Good morning.
There you go. Start with your name, please.
Good morning. Yeah, I see Charlie's wearing black today. I hear you. Although we've repeatedly been told that the situation involving Marticolone Cemetery is outside of council scope, I'm asking that these comments be entered into the public record today.
Yeah, start with your name,
I'm specifically
Adrian.
directing these concerns to City Attorney Scott Steady regarding what I believe to be failures to protect a historic cemetery under Florida Statute 872, Chapter 872. In 2018 Tampa Bay Times article, Patrick Thorpe openly acknowledged this land as cemetery property. In that article and in subsequent public interviews, he publicly stated that he purchased portions of the cemetery in order to protect it from development and prevent homes and commercial projects from being built there. Think about that for a moment. The property owner himself publicly recognized this land as a cemetery. The property owner himself publicly acknowledged its historic significance. The property owner himself publicly spoke about preservation and protection. In one public interview, he even stated, somebody had to do something to protect this. And that was those exact words. So my question to the city is simple. If the owner himself publicly acknowledged this property is cemetery land requiring protection from development, then why are citizens today being treated as unreasonable for demanding caution, investigation, and accountability before further activity continues on or around this disputed parcel? You can't publicly describe land as a cemetery, publicly discuss preserving it from development, and then later dismiss concerns about possible graves as mere speculation. The historical record already exists. The warnings already existed. The acknowledgement already existed. This issue didn't appear in 2026. Public concern surrounding Golong Cemetery has existed for decades, and the city of Tampa cannot ignore. They can't claim ignorance after what happened with Zion Cemetery. Florida Statute 872 exists to protect suspected burial grounds before destruction occurs, not after. These are not just vacant lots. These are resting places of Tampa's early pioneers, immigrants, cigar workers, Black and brown families, and people who helped build West Tampa. So I'm asking the city to stop minimizing these concerns and finally begin treating this cemetery with the dignity, caution, and protection it deserves. Oh, and one more thing. 346 days until Tampa can tell its current mayor, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you. Thank you, council. Have a great day.
Wow. Thank you, Ms. Rodriguez. That concludes our city council normal public comment. We're now going to move to, is there anybody in the audience that has a request for reconsideration of legislative matters? Hearing none. Consent agenda. Luis Vieira, would you please move items number 3 through 5?
Yes, sir. It's my distinct honor to move items 3 through 5.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira. We have a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilwoman Young, would you move items 6 through 20?
I move items 6 through 20.
We have a motion from Councilman Young, a second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilman Maniscalco.
I move
I move items 21 through 31. We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilman Miranda, move items 32 through 37.
Mr. Chairman, move items 32 through 37.
We have a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilman Carlson, would you move items 38 through 41?
So moved.
We have a motion from Councilman Carlson, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you. Councilwoman Hurtak.
I move items 42 through 44.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Hurtak, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Can I get a motion to set public hearings for items 45 and 46? We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Can I get a motion to open the 10 o'clock public hearings, please? We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Councilwoman Hurtak.
I motion to move items 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, and 64.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Hurtak, a second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. And can I get that motion, Councilwoman Young, to continue item 48 now to July 16th, 2026?
Date, time, and place, please.
Oh.
I move to continue item 48 to July
16th,
16th,
2026.
2026 at
3:15.
3:15 East Kennedy Boulevard, Tampa, Florida.
At 10 a.m.? Did you say 10 a.m.?
5602.
At 10 a.m. public
At
hearing.
10 a.m. public hearing.
Thank you.
And if you can, just for the record, it's TA CPA 25-19.
TA CPA 25-19.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Hurtak, with a second from Councilwoman Young, a second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item number 47. Just so everybody knows what's going to happen, we have some second readings which should go really quick. As soon as those are done, we're gonna go to the next schedule with the combined meetings between the CRA and the City Council.
Are we going to take a short break to clear everything? And
if it's requested by council, we will. You want it?
I think it would be a good idea because otherwise it's going to be loud.
Okay, sounds good. Okay, item number 47.
Item number 40, Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. Item number 47 is TACPA 2518. It is a map amendment located at 3602 West Euclid Avenue. The request is to change the future land use designation from residential 20 to community mixed use drive. The amendment was approved at the April 23rd, 2026 hearing and is in front of you for second reading. I'm available if you have any questions.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none, Councilman Vieira, I'm assuming your light is on to tell me that you're prepared to vote on these second readings.
Yes, sir. I had a great excuse because I was seeing Bruce Springsteen in Miami with my son. So there you go.
Okay, very good. Okay, thank you so much. Let's see. No questions, correct? Is there anybody in the public who wishes to speak to this item? Hearing none, can I get a motion to close? Motion to close, Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman Carlson, would you please read item 47?
Move item number 47, file number TACPA 25-18, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption. Ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan future land use map for the property located at 3602 West Euclid Avenue from residential 20 R20 to commercial mixed use 35 CMU 35, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Carlson, a second from Councilman Vieira. Please record your vote.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 49.
Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. Item number 49 is TACPA 2515, a map amendment located at 4304 North 26th Street, 4205 North 25th Street, and folio number 156781.0000. The request is to change the future land use designation from residential 10 to residential 20. This amendment was approved at the April 23rd, 2026 hearing and is in front of you for second reading. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to speak to this item? Motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Oh, somebody wish to speak to this item?
Yes.
You're here to you want to speak to item 49? Please come forward. Start with your name, please. Oh, can I get a motion to reopen? We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco, second from Councilman Miranda. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. You wish to speak to item 49?
Steve Michelini, I'm the representative for the applicant. I'm just here to answer any questions and I appreciate your consideration.
Okay, thank you. Very good. Any questions for the applicant? Did you wish to speak to item 49, sir?
My name is Kenneth Matthews, and I reside at 2504 East 30th Avenue. And I'm opposing this here, building the complex behind my house. We don't know what they building. They gave them a building site to build, but we don't know what they building. And we want to know what they building before you just start building anything.
May I, Mr. Chair?
Sure.
Ask? Is my thing on? Yes, it
Councilman
is.
Bureau.
Thank you very much, sir. And I know we're on, obviously, second reading. Mr. Michelini, can you meet with this gentleman afterwards if this passes?
We have met with them in the homeowners association at the last hearing. They were here in support of this petition. This gentleman is concerned about construction, which will come up at a rezoning, which we plan to have further discussions with them regarding the exact plans on what has to happen. His property already has an R20 designation, and we've tried to explain that as well. The whole list of properties there are R20. So, but going forward, when the rezoning is filed, we'll be meeting with them to discuss exactly what is being proposed.
Okay, and you're obviously a gentleman of your word, so I take, thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Right with you guys. Okay, that concludes your rebuttal, Mr. Michelini?
No, items 49 and 50 are related, and I'm sure that when Emily goes through that as well, but we do plan further discussions regarding this project. Thank
Okay.
you.
Very good. Is there anybody in the public, anybody else in the public who wishes to speak to item 49? Can I get a motion to close? Motion to close for Councilman Miranda, second for Councilman Vieira. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman Vieira.
Yes, sir, 49?
Yes.
I move an ordinance, is it? Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. An ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan Future Land Use Amendment, Future Land Use Map for the property located at 4304 North 26th Street, 4205 North 25th Street, and folio number 1567881-0000 from residential 10R10 to residential 20R20, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilman Vieira, second from Councilman Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you. Item number 50.
Emily Phelan, Planning Commission staff. Item number 50 is TA CPA 2517, a map amendment located at 4216 North 26th Street. The request is to change the future land use designation from residential 10 to residential 20. This amendment was approved at the April 23rd, 2026 hearing and is in front of you today for second reading. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does council have any questions of staff? Hearing none. Very good. Applicant, did you want to say anything on this one?
No, as I said, this is related and it's directly adjacent to the other land use area. And the Planning Commission wanted them to all be consistent all the way across that area. So we appreciate your consideration.
Thank you very much. Any further questions from the staff? Hearing none. Is there anybody in the public who wishes to speak to item number 50? We have a motion to close for Councilman Miranda, second for Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilwoman Young, would you please read item 50?
File number TACPA 25-17, ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance amending the Tampa Comprehensive Plan, Future Land Use Element, Future Land Use Map for the property located at 4216 North 26th Street from residential 10 R10 to residential 20 R20, providing for repeal of all ordinances in conflict, providing for severability, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Young, a second from Councilman Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you very much. Okay, we have two more public hearings, just so everybody knows what's going on. We have two more. They should go quickly as well. And then we're going to have a small break so that our CTTV can reset for the next meeting. And when that happens, again, if you're here for the city council and you have not signed in a sheet for a CRA, I request that you go down to the second floor and sign in to be able to speak so that we can clear council chambers for folks that are going to speak to the item 58 when we combine the meetings. If you are here to speak on item 51 and 52, it is a quasi judicial hearing. It requires you to be sworn in. Please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in by our clerk. Okay, item number 51, please.
Thank you so much, Chairman and Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 51 is AB 22514. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales, a small venue classification, consumption on premise only, for the sale of beer, wine, liquor. This is for the property at 1724 North Nebraska Avenue. Site plan changes are required to be made. Those changes have been made. The plan has been certified and provided to the clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you. Does staff have any or council have any questions of staff? Hearing none. Okay, applicant? Is there an applicant for this one?
Thank you very much, members of the council. This is Attorney Matthew Bleidenberg here on behalf of the applicant. As Ms. Dock just went over, the request for our upgrade to an AB2 zoning designation was provisionally approved at the April 23rd hearing. There were some concerns raised by Councilman Carlson regarding the hours of operation. That seemed to be the primary change that was made to the site plan. We have memorialized that on the updated site plans that were certified and provided to Ms. Dock and to her office. The hours of operation are now limited to 12 midnight rather than the open-ended hours of operation that were included in the original site plan to go towards 2 or 3 in the morning. We have since scaled back those hours of operation to reflect those concerns. And we've also made sure to include the waivers that were requested to make sure that everything is memorialized. But if there are any other further questions, I am happy to answer along with Ms. Dock.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Can anybody in the public wish to speak to this item? We have a motion to close. Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilwoman Hurtak.
File number AB 2-25-14. Ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit, SU2, for alcoholic beverage sales, small venue, consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor, on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 1724 North Nebraska Avenue, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2022-185, providing an effective date.
We have a motion from Councilwoman Hurtak. We have a second from Councilman Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you so much. Item 52.
Thank you, Chairman and Council. LaShawn Dock, Development Coordination. Item 52 is AB 22605. This is a request for alcoholic beverage sales. This is for a restaurant classification, consumption on premise only, for the sale of beer, wine, liquor. This is for the property located at 2507 South Macdill Avenue. Site plan changes are required to be made. Those plans have been modified. The plan has been certified and provided to the city clerk. I'm available if you have any questions.
Thank you, LaShawn. Do council have any questions? Hearing none. Applicant?
Thank you, Mr. Chair and Council. Jim Porter with Ackerman, 401 East Jackson Street for the applicant. This is the BT restaurant that you approved at the last hearing. Happy to answer any questions, but otherwise I ask for your approval.
Does council have any questions? Hearing none. Anybody in the public wish to speak to this item? We have a motion to close from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Councilman Maniscalco.
Thank you very much. I have an ordinance being presented for second reading and adoption, an ordinance approving a special use permit SU2 for alcoholic beverage sales, restaurant consumption on premises only, and making lawful the sale of beverages regardless of alcoholic content, beer, wine, and liquor, on that certain lot, plot, or tract of land located at 2507 South Macdill Avenue, Tampa, Florida, as more particularly described in Section 3, providing that all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflicts are repealed, repealing ordinance number 2023-144, providing an effective date.
Thank you. We have a motion from Councilman Maniscalco. I have a second from Councilman Miranda. Please record your vote.
Motion carried unanimously.
Thank you, Council.
Very good. Okay, that is going to conclude this portion of Tampa City Council. If you are here for the 10:30 public hearings, we're not going to be able to hear that until after we take up the joint CRA and council meetings. Councilman Hurtak, did you say?
What are we going to do about lunch?
That will be up to council.
I'm sorry, Mr. Chairman.
Martin Shelby, City Council Attorney. Could you please address the issue of how long this is going to go before, if council intends to break for lunch? What is council's intention? So the public is aware.
I'm gonna suggest, it is now 11:10-ish. I'm gonna suggest we come back at 11:25 to start this portion of the hearing. I would say we probably need to give an hour. So why don't we plan on breaking for lunch at 12:30 and go to 1:30 for lunch?
That's fine.
Does that work for everybody?
Could we just have a motion for that so everybody, want to do it? Just want to be,
Okay.
yeah, please do.
If you're only, I think there, sorry, I have jet lag from last night.
I can't even imagine.
But you're only leaving time for 20 or 30 people to speak, right?
No. We'll continue when we come back. We'll do the first presentations and then continue public speaking after
Okay,
that.
yeah, just because there's a lot more than 30 people
Oh, yeah,
downstairs.
there's a lot of people here.
But what about the 1:30 public hearings?
They'll just have to wait until after. Yeah.
Okay.
So everything's gonna get back, so we'll come back for that. Okay, so had a motion from Councilman Miranda, second from Councilman Maniscalco for the lunch period, so all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it, thank you.
And to clarify for the purposes of planning for the afternoon, if there's still public comment at the time you break for lunch, the public comment will continue after lunch.
Correct.
And the 1:30 public hearing, which is,
Everything else on the agenda will follow that.
okay, very
Okay.
good, thank you.
Okay, very good. Okay, so that concludes our regularly scheduled program for the morning session. Again, we have to have a break because of technology has to do their thing. We'll come back at 11:25 and we will start our joint CRA and council meeting. Right now, I'm going to do is put Tampa City Council in recess. When we come back, Tampa CRA will gavel in.
Actually, no, you're going to have to pick it up to begin with.
Okay.
If you take a break now, till 11:25, when you come back, you'll take roll, but you'll still be in session.
Okay, very good. Okay, we're taking a break. Thank you. We'll be back at 25.